In this sublesson, all we need to really talk about are a single type of commandlets, and those are the service commandlets. There are quite a few different service commandlets that you will work with when you are dealing with Windows services. Which commandlet you use will depend on which commandlet you should use. So let's take a look at this table. You will see that there is a get-service commandlet that will return all of the services that are running on your computer. There is also a new-service commandlet if you need to create a new service in the service database. Now, in most cases, you probably won't need to create new services on your computer system, but it is available if you need to. Restart-service is a very common thing to do on a Windows server. This is a commandlet I use quite frequently. Resume-service will resume a suspended service, along with suspend-service, which will place them in a suspended state. Set-service will make changes to a service that you specify. Start-service will start the service, and stop-service will stop them. Let's jump into a demonstration on working with service commandlets. For this demonstration, we are going to use the DC-1 computer and open a new Windows PowerShell session. Let's start by running a very simple get-service. And you will see this is returning every single service that is set up in my services database on this Windows server. My favorite service to work with when I'm doing examples is the WinRM service. You will see that it is currently in a running state. This is one of the most important services when you are working with remote computer systems in PowerShell or with Server Manager on Server 2012. This should always be in a running state. Let's go ahead though, and let's stop this service and specify the name so we're only stopping one service, which is the WinRM service. Now when we run get-service, we will see that WinRM is currently stopped. So let's start that service back up again. This time, I am not going to use a named parameter, but a positional parameter. And now when we check, you will see that WinRM is now running. You may run into an issue where a service is hung or you need to restart it. Instead of stopping it and starting it again, you can use the restart-service commandlet. And then you can specify which service you want to restart. Now instead of specifying the name, let's specify the display name. And that display name is Windows Remote Management, and then in parentheses, WS Management. Notice that I put those in single quotes. That is because there are spaces in this name. If I were to put a space in this, it would break the command unless it is in single or double quotes. When I run that, it doesn't return anything to the screen, but to make sure that it started up properly, I can run a get-service and see that WinRM is still running. Now that we have managed some of the Windows services, what if you need to create a new service on Windows? That is where the new service commandlet comes into play. We have to specify a name, which we're just going to call this test service, and the binary path name. This is what is actually going to start when you run this service. For demonstration purposes, we are just going to use Notepad as our example. This will not actually launch when it runs because Notepad is not a service, but an application. When we run that, you will see that it has created a new service in a stopped state named test service, and the display name is the same as the name of test service. When I run get-service, we will be able to see in here that test service is in the list with all of the other services. The next thing we need to do is we need to actually put a meaningful display name on this service. So let's run set service and specify the name test service. And then we'll say under the display name, this is a test service for demonstration. And then we're also going to add a description. This is a test service. It doesn't provide any output to the screen, but now when we run get-service, and when we locate the test service, you will see that the display name is there. If we were to select the description property, it would also display what we modified. However, If you want to remove this service from the computer system, it does require a little bit more advanced work than just remove-service, which we will not cover in this lesson.